Hi, Jorge. I'm sorry I was muted. Hi, Elizabetta.
My apologies. I'm just
Hello.
getting these breakfast sandwiches from my wife, staring at me in the face, asking me to eat them. But good morning, good afternoon, everyone. We are live. My name is Robert Blakely, in case you don't know me. I'm also known as the Blakeser. If you're watching us live on YouTube, feel free to join us. Go to live.thelosttransition.com. Join us live right here in the room. Why would you do that? Well, we meet every Monday. And what we do is we talk to those of you that are in the audience, especially the network marketing professionals. I'm going to call all of my friends that, and or business owners. And we have a Monday Mastermind. And what this entails is just simply a training component. I typically talk about sales psychology. We're in week 24. Today we're going to be breaking down the 5 conversation per hour rule that I teach when it comes to sales psychology and building a business. So listen, let me just throw it at you like this because it's popping up into my head to say, if you have a business online and you have not ever had or registered at least 100 people in that business, you're just getting started. So we're gonna teach you how to not only be the top 2% of the network marketers that are out there, but to get you to that point where you're at least over 100 people. So this is something that I can actually teach because I've done several times. And part of the teaching is, as I mentioned before, is the sales psychology that I love to teach. When you understand the things that we're teaching, when it comes to that, it makes your conversations way easier. I like to jokingly refer to it as being like Neo inside the Matrix. You'll get less objections. The conversations will be better. Um, you'll build better relationships, all that fun stuff, right? So today is, again, it's the 5 conversation per hour conversation. But I'm not going to sit here and just say, yeah, you got to have 5 conversations per hour or even per day. I'm going to break it down even more in depth than even Rita has seen me talk about it, even though she knows this information because she's been absorbing it for some time now. I want to break it down even more so that you guys can get even more prepared. So when you start off your day and you decide to actually follow through with what we're talking about here, you'll be better prepared to actually have better results, right? So if that's okay with everybody, we're going to talk about that. But before we get into that, I'd like to again go into the audience. I wanted to hear from you guys as far as your wins, particularly and especially if you've been following through with the information that we've been teaching. I'd love to hear some of your wins about what you're implementing. But other than that, we love to hear your wins either way. So if you've got any wins that you'd love to share, we'd love to hear them. I love living vicariously through my friends. Can't be everywhere all at once, right? So that's how we have the show. And then once we're done with that little portion, I've got some slides that I'm going to share with you guys. Again, getting deeper into the whole 5 conversations per hour so that you can maximize your time, right? Because time in essence is the most valuable thing that we have. And a lot of us, I can say for a fact, don't know how to use their time wisely, right? Many cases, even myself, I can get caught up in, doom scrolling or just wasting time or maybe even playing video games, right? But when it gets down to business, I'm one of those people, in case you don't know, that I absolutely get laser focused. And when I'm laser focused, there's really no stopping me. So, who wants to start off the show with some wins? And then we'll transition into some slides. It'll give me a chance to eat my breakfast biscuits. Hey, you got some wins. Hello, Vicky.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and start.
All right.
Don't let everybody speak at once. Okay, so now what was I going to talk about?
Your wins.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm having a little challenge this week. Okay, so I did do some. I like fun things, and I did do some little stickers that I use, so it can kind of make like a cartoon caricature, and I had an ability to put the speech bubbles in and what I wanted it to say, because sometimes I know on the fruit phones, they have them already built in, and Android has a few, but I like that personal touch as well. So I started using those, and people have started commenting about them. Also, I had good news from a credit union who's one of my clients, and I serve as an employee benefit. So I got a call from a member who's been a member for years. She's retired from there, but she called somebody who called somebody. Now, why did she have to call somebody? She had to call somebody because their HR person would not take any calls or interactions from me unless deemed by the president, who is now gone. So it was almost like going to the the principal's office, like, because it's like she doesn't like me, she doesn't want to see me. She'll, when I bring information in, she'll send somebody else out there to go get it. And I didn't do anything, anything, and that I knew of. And so I, asked a few people, trying very diplomatically to say, hey, look, do you know if she's like okay? And does she just hate everybody, or is it just me that she doesn't like? Because I even took somebody in there with me to speak with her, and just to, get some kind of temperature gauging on that. And so she's like, what's wrong with her? So I said, okay, great, it's not me. All right, so back to the member. The member, I'm giving you time to eat, just so you know, I'm working on my storytelling. So the member said, the member called, and she had been with them for a number of years. She retired, and she got my number because the guy that's still there, he's now the CEO, I believe. So he's still there, and he gave it to her. He called me and said she would be calling. So she did call, and the conversation was really, really good. And I said, well, I haven't brought, if the information was put in the employees' room where they can go get snacks and eat lunch and what have you, the break room, that you would already have my information, which told me that my info was nowhere around. So the guy who was still there, he remembered me. He had her call, and so we had that conversation. And she said, well, who were you speaking? Were you dealing with? Who were you dealing with before? And I said, I can't remember her name right now. She said, was it so and so? And I was like, yep, that's her. She said, well, she's like that with anybody, but don't worry, she's gone, and there's a new HR person there, and she'll be open to hearing about it, because it just builds their portfolio in terms of offerings. So I was like, yes. So I now have a new best friend. Was able to take care of her, gave her the information she needed, and I'm going to update. And I told her we need to meet for lunch because you sound like one of my peeps. So she said, yeah, we can definitely do that. And she's been a member for years. She said she's never used the plan. I said, yeah, it's like insurance. Like I've had maybe 4 driving accidents over the years. So, maybe I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So it's a good thing for me. Plus, she's got all those hours built she has 300 hours built up in the event that she's sued. And I thought, well, how much would that cost you if somebody sued you? So anyway, we had a great conversation, enjoyed that, and just, she does not know how much she made my day. I think I'm going to use one of my things that I use to get free points or gift cards, and send her a $50 Amazon gift card, because she has no clue as to how much, as when you go in to speak to somebody as an HR person, and you don't know what their take is on you, and you just can't get a reading aside from the one I got, which was a little scary. So that's what I got. So I mean, that's a huge win, because they have 4 different branches. So that gives me access to more than 100 people, which is great, because they'll be open to me coming in and talking about it. And all I need is exposure. I don't know if they're going to buy or not. That's not my my goal. My goal is just that you know that you have it. So, anyway, huge win. Nothing to do with
Absolutely.
munchkins, but that's what I got going on.
So are you saying though that that could potentially tie you into more potential customers for Legal Shield, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That is
Most
awesome.
most definitely, because now I believe that I'll have the ability to put my information in the break rooms, and even have an audience with them. Like it, maybe when they open up their employee benefits, then I can do a short presentation, just letting them know, hey, this is what you have access to. So, yeah.
So I got a question for you, and I don't mean to put you on the spot. You know, I love you.
Mhm.
You- You've been with them for a while. You have
Yes.
a downline of 100 people or more?
The well, here's yes to answer your question, yes, but
Thought you did.
here's the thing:
Sure.
are they working?
Right.
That you can have 10,000 people in your downline, but if 100 of them are working, or but I'm sure there's statistically a way to say to figure that out, and it just depends on what you teach.
Sure. Certainly. Certainly.
If they're not working, it's because of what you don't know, or I got to know, and all of a sudden your feelings are hurt, or it doesn't work, or if you have a problem with the product. Heck, you can go to any store, any business, and they have had stories of disgruntled customers. No, it's
Sure.
not going to be 100%, but you don't go nuts because one person had a challenge. You try to resolve it, and that's where you step in as a person that takes over for them and speaks for them when they can't speak, and say, hey, look, there's you're supposed to do XYZ, and that wasn't done. Now, I have learned to say, this is what the customer says. Just letting you know, can you enlighten me? They'll do the research, because I work as the go-between between the law firm and the client when there's a customer service issue. I'm that person. So now, what I have learned from that is I can go from what the customer tells me 100% and blame, 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 blame. It's you, you didn't do da 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 da.
Sure.
But sometimes it's what the customer doesn't tell you.
Exactly.
So I've learned my lesson with that too. So I said, this is what they're saying. So, yeah,
I've always said that there's two sides to every story, right? And
yes,
both sides, even that being said,
three.
it's wild again because how you always hear me talk about how my universe works. And this was completely unscripted, but I know exactly how you feel because I'm dealing with that right now, as I was briefly mentioning to you with the whole water heater thing, right? So they got a water heater to give you guys an example and bring everybody into the story. We get a new house. 3 years ago, we buy it. It was remodeled from the ground up, buy the house. Water heater was created December of 2022. It's now June of 2026. It has typically a 6 year warranty on it. But because I bought the house, I can't call Ream and have the warranty used because I wasn't the one that originally bought the Ream. So I said, okay, so you're telling me that I would have to call the person that sold me the house, and if in fact they were the ones that went and bought the water heater from Home Depot and had the receipt, so they would be the ones that would be able to do that. Like I said, there's no logic there, right? I said to the person on the phone, and they were very great at their customer service, and I felt the empathy, which was great. Like I can't say enough about that side of the call. But my point is I told him, I said, there's a disconnect there. There's something that doesn't make sense to me. And as you and I have many conversations, if it's happened to me, I'm sure it's happened to several people. Like, when are we going to get off the hamster wheel and actually fix it and speak up for people that maybe aren't speaking up? And then when I look at what you were talking about and what she had said specifically, right? You have it not better to have it not needed than to need not have it, which is a phrase that we use in the military quite a bit. You know, I'm not a big fan of insurance. At the same time, somebody like that will go and get involved in the business, but not know much about it or never even open it, never touch it again. Many times just sitting there paying. And if they're not noticing it, if it's not making a significant difference in their life, then they're just going to keep paying it, right? I mean, I have students that pay me that don't show up to coaching, which boggles my mind a little bit. But to be able to have the access, like you've mentioned, right, there is something to be said about that, obviously. So, either way, kudos to you for making that connection, and then even having that new connection and friend that could open up quite a few doors and possibilities, which is even better.
Yeah, and you're right. You said two sides to every story. I have learned that there are three.
I've
There's
heard that.
yeah, yeah. Well, that makes it for me. That works perfectly because you can't. It's like going to court. You've got the person who's on the witness stand. You have the attorney, and then you have somebody who's judging them, the jury. So they have to figure out what is the truth in between all of that. So
Sure.
I'd say two to three if everybody's straightforward, telling the truth. But can't rely on that these days.
Well, I look at it like this, and I can agree with you somewhat, but if you have both sides of the story, then you should come to the truth. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like it's never it's like you said. Somebody might say, "Oh, well, this, that, and the other, and it's not working." Well, did you try this? Oh, well, I never tried that. It's what we used to call in the military operator headspace and timing. Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, I never used it. I never opened it or whatever. That's, I guess, more of a reason, and since we're on the topic and the conversation, more of a reason for us to get more involved in what it is that we're putting our money towards, right? Especially if it's a business, especially if it's something dealing with legal representation, like, because I know the company's been around for a long time and you've been with them for a while. So I'm glad to hear that your experience has been great, and you have that to your ability if you ever need it. So kudos to you and thank you for sharing. Great wins for you. Hey, Dr. Lisa. Hello, Virgil. Glad you guys made it. We're just going through some wins. You guys got any wins you want to share? Feel free. Raise your hand. Say hello. Jorge, go
Good
ahead,
after.
brother.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, brother.
I uh, I have a couple of wins that I want to share.
Please.
As you know, my passion is on flying. So this weekend, I was actually flying a couple of times.
Yeah.
I flew with the Civil Air Patrol, which is something that I'm looking forward because I joined them close to 2 years ago, but I was in the wrong chapter because they were not doing too much of flying. So I switched about a month and a half ago, and I'm doing a lot more flying with this new chapter because at least they have control of one little airplane. So that was good. Although I flew as a passenger on it, I'm I have one qualification that is called mission scanner, and I basically flew as a passenger looking out the window, and I'm supposed to look out the window and locate the things that we are looking for.
Oh, okay.
So we did that exercise. So that was good because hey, I was flying.
Sure.
So that was Saturday.
Right
Then
on.
on Sunday, well, I didn't fly Saturday on my own because I had this program with the Civil Air Patrol. So I wanted to fly on Sunday because I try to fly on weekends because gas is a little cheaper. Flying for the heck of it, flying for the pleasure of flying is expensive. So you have to try to see how you save a little. So anyway, the weather on the weather on Sunday is showing the area that we were going to have some storms in the afternoon, and well, I could have fly in the morning, but I had a different program at that time. I visit friends at an airport where we have a coffee and donuts on like from the time that I get there about 9 a.m. to about 11. So I decided I was going to fly about 7 p.m. after the storms. So yeah, it did. The weather behaved about that way because the weather is almighty and it does whatever it wants. So I went to the airport about 7, and I was preparing the airplane to fly, checking it up, and I was looking at the weather. It was clearing up a little. I said, okay, that's good. And I also check on the weather uh, the weather advisory, the tools that we use, and looking it was looking good. So my plan was to actually go to a closer by airport because the latest time I've been just practicing some takeoffs and landings at the airport that I am based. So I was planning to go to a close by airport, and so I took off, and the weather up there it didn't look that good. It looked that it was a lot of the visibility was not so great. So I uh, I went on. I took my course to go to that airport, but I was as I was progressing, I saw that the visibility was really not that great. So I check on my on my iPad that I have a tool there, and I found out, yeah, that airplane is IFR. It's in instrument flying conditions or instrument flying rules. And at this time, I'm only flying visual with visual flying rules. So definitely, if I would get close to that airport, the controller would have told me, well, you cannot land here. Uh, Go back to where you came from because this airport is on instrument flying rules.
Wow.
So, but as soon as I checked my tool, I said, well, I think I'm just going back to do what I've done, doing takeoffs and landings to my base airport. So
Right.
I immediately turn around and did a few takeoffs and landings at my base airport and uh, and did my time flying, and I landed, and I put the airplane back and uh, checked that everything was secure, and then I came back home. But the reason I consider this a good win, in my own flight, was because that's what is called aeronautical decision making.
Right. Right.
And if we don't make good decisions, we
Yeah.
get in trouble.
Oh yeah.
So that's why for me this was a great win. So
Even if you have passengers like us, it would be even worse if you don't make good decisions.
yeah, if you are taking passengers, it's actually more critical that you
Yeah,
take better decisions.
absolutely. Don't take other people's lives into your hands. Absolutely. Well, cool. I appreciate that story and good win for you, brother. Thank you for sharing. So I'm going
Thanks.
to, unless anybody has some quick wins, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. As I want to dive into this. We shouldn't need a whole lot of time. There's not a lot that's needed when it comes to explanation here. However, As I mentioned, my main purpose and point is to be able to break this down to where it's very, very useful and you can take it and use it today. Right? Did you have something you were saying, Rita?
Yeah, Virgil did
Okay.
have his hand
Sure.
raised earlier.
Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead, Virgil.
Oh, yeah, it was just me confirming that, hey, I've been able to keep on with what has been set in motion. Um, the label conversation is progressing, getting more interest, actually looking at containing these conversation, because just like anything else, when people are very passionate and enthused to do what they do. They don't necessarily plan everything out properly. So a lot of the implementation is something that we're going over, and it's a beautiful experience. And through that, I've been also able to start networking myself with people, store owners, and other brand designers. So I'm able also to start placing my own work, my own passion of the heart uh, side gig, which is fashion or fashion apparel, which is essentially one of the line of monetization that I usually recommend to these young artists. So everything is falling into place, and it's a good feeling. So I cross my fingers and keep at it. Keep the blessing coming.
Amen,
Yeah.
brother. We're crossing our fingers for you too. My toes too. Appreciate you being here, brother. And thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna dive in here, just with the respect of time, because I do need a few moments to be able to explain these breakdowns and what you're gonna see. That being said, let me kind of prelude. So when I wanted to break this down, I thought first off, what was the practical experience, right? Where did it come from? Most of you should know already, right? It came from my direct marketing days. And the point that I'm trying to make, right, is what with 5 conversations per hour, we always hit our goals, whatever our targets were, unless we over goaled ourselves. That was too much, right? As an example, and I find it wild when I talk about it nowadays, right? Because every customer that we closed, we were only making $10 per customer, right? So if we wanted to make $100 a day, which was decent money 15 to 18 years ago, we would have to get 10 customers to say yes to us, right? So that was always the goal. What we were trying to do was at least 10 per day. And in fact, when we all went out there together, it was like when you came back at the end of the day, you didn't want to get in the van if you had only 9 sales. Like everybody would give you a hard time, right? It was either 8 or 10. That's how you entered the van. 8, you were considered like, well, you didn't hit your goal. 9, you were actually called a loser because you, how could you get 9 and you didn't get 10? You understand? You know what I mean? Like, why are you going to stop at 9? And I'm telling you this story so that you can relate as I'm going through and understand where this whole 5 conversations per hour fits into the play and how you can use it to your benefit, right? The point is that if you were at 9, you got called a loser. Now, the reason I say that it's so funny thinking about it, because now if you go do the exact same job that we were doing, which is door to door and selling electricity, gas, or other services, the last rep that came and sold me fiber, I asked him because I wanted to find out. He said at least $200 a person. And to me, I was like, holy crap. $200 a person. If you imagine you do the numbers, what's 200 times 10? That should be an easy number.
that should be like 20 grand.
200 times 10. No, it'd be 2000,
2000.
right? So on what we were doing back then, I would be making like 2 grand a day. Okay. And typically we worked 6-day work weeks, that'd be 12 grand a week times 4, it'd be 50K a month. Crazy numbers, right? Nowadays, these are really good numbers. I'd love to have these numbers versus what we used to get paid at $10, right? So the point that I'm making is that this is where this is where rubber met the pavement for me when I learned and understood this in correlation with what my value was, in direct correlation with what I was selling. And I'm telling you these stories so you understand. If you're selling a low ticket product, then obviously you're going to have more conversations versus less conversations for a higher ticket product. The issue with that, just being straight up with you, is where you're going to get the high ticket product from. And typically it's going to be an affiliate type of situation. You're only going to make a certain percentage, or you're going to go and you're going to work for a closer. You're going to close for that closer and they get paid for those. Or the third option, you create your own. But creating your own isn't that easy, right? It's not that easy, especially without the knowledge, the skill set, and the understanding of how to put it all together. That being said, you have to look at what is it that you're selling. So when we would go and we were doing direct marketing, and I say the 5 conversations per hour, we knew for a fact who we were talking to, right? Because we got dropped into a neighborhood of roughly 100 houses, and we'd had to go with our little street sheet, and we'd had to take note of every single address that was there. Right? 1001, 1003, 1006, right? Or 1007, 1009, everything on the odd side, go up one side, go down the other. And that whole first time that we were doing that was to find out who was home so that we had somebody to talk to, and then whether or not they were the decision maker, right? To be able to create that sale. Now, as we would go through that first time, whatever sales that we created from the neighbors that were there, we would then have to go back a second time to hit those doors again that nobody was home. But then when somebody was home and it was close to somebody that we had a sale, well, now we would have to do what we call third party, right? I would say, yeah, like Rita, a couple doors down. And that would help us get this next sale. Then we'd go back around and we'd pick up a few more sales. And then we go around a third time, knocking on those doors that weren't there, or maybe, oh, well, they're not here until 6 or 7. Yeah, she's not here. What time will she be home? 5 or 6, 6 and 7. Oh, 6 and 7. Could plan your route accordingly. Very strategic, so you didn't go back and forth from one side of the neighborhood all the way to the other, right? There were all these things that we had to think about and incorporate. But either way, our whole mission was still having these 5 conversations per hour, right? But I'm saying all this because, again, there's a difference between direct marketing, telemarketing, and what we call internet marketing or network marketing or online marketing. The same rules can still apply in the direct marketing world. You're just not treating it like a direct marketing animal, right? And what I mean by that is you're not going out there just knocking on people's Facebook saying, "Hey, you want to buy something?" Right? That's the wrong way to do things. That's what we don't want to teach. Even though there's some trainers, coaches, mentors, whatever you want to call them, that are out there. Hey, I just get through it, man. Find out if they're you know even open for it. I'm not a big fan of that type of style at all. Simply because, as I mentioned, and I've learned, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So I screw it up now by doing something like that, right? Do it the right way. And eventually, in time, if it's meant to be, it'll happen, right? But you have to have this understanding of how the 5 conversations per hour work, and then how to actually maximize your prospecting time when it is that you do sit down and prospect. Because look, I'm not going to bullshit you guys, right? I know for a fact, because I've been here, done that, how many of us will sit down in front of our desk and we're not prospecting anything. Let's be real, right? We're scrolling through Facebook, we're liking, we're commenting. That's not prospecting, my friends, right? That's not prospecting. That's not sitting down physically saying, okay, I'm going to talk to these many people, and these are the people that I'm going to talk to, right? So that's what we're going to dive into. But the math itself, as I mentioned before, it has to make sense. It has to connect the dots. And if it doesn't connect, then there's confusion, right? So how do we have 5 conversations per hour? Well, we talked about it last week with the 12-minute conversation. Now, just quickly, I'm curious, did anybody practice having a 12-minute conversation last week? Anyone? Well, there you go. See? Proof, case in point. I know I did. I had several of them. In fact, because I had those conversations, there's what happens is what do you call it? Drawing a blank. They're in the hopper now, right? Looking at potentially having somebody join us on the 22nd, all because I had a simple conversation.
They're
And
in
it
the
was
pipeline.
pipeline, there you go. Even better. Pipeline hopper, exactly. And it wasn't even a 12-minute conversation, just so you know. Anyway, so it just means to me, and why I'm like trying to drive this into your head so much so that you get it, is that that means that you can only have 12 minutes per conversation, right? If you're going in 1 hour. Now, obviously, I'm not telling you to start off right away and do this because it's pretty challenging, but at least go with 5 conversations per day. If you can just promise yourself you'll do that. Not me, because, that's not my business, right? But if you at least do 5 conversations and you keep to the 12-minute rule, then you know that you've at least had those conversations or potentially prospected for 60 minutes, right? So if you do that 1 hour a day, right, that means that you got 5 prospects or 5 people that you've talked to. And then in 1 week's time, that's at least 25. And then in 1 month, that's at least 100, right? So now, if you go look at the numbers, and this is why I'm explaining this very in depth for you guys so you understand, right? When I started, I was closing at roughly 50% of the people that I was talking to. So if I wanted to close, per se, 100 people, then that meant that I had to talk to 100 people, but 50 of them would tell me no, right? But then the other 50 would say yes. So that means I had to double my output or get better at my script, my presentation, how I delivered, right? How I sold, how I transfer that energy. So if you look at it and you're actually able to sit down for 1 hour a day and duplicate, for lack of better terms, what we're talking about here, then those are the numbers that you're looking at. Now couple that with what it is that you're selling, and you can automatically kind of write your own paycheck. Do you guys see what I'm talking about here? Yes? When you understand the math and your closing percentages as correlated to how many conversations that you have to have, you write your own paycheck, ladies and gentlemen. That was my light bulb moment. That was like, ooh, I get goosies just thinking about it like that. That was my light bulb moment when I said, holy crap, I am worth more than an hourly job at McDonald's. I, again, I'm not here to bash the hourly thing because we all, at one point in time, we need to. But after the journey that I've gone on, and I'm sure many of you will agree or not, it's a lifestyle of slavery. It's a lifestyle of servitude. It's not the lifestyle that I believe that we as humans were put on this earth for. I don't believe that we were meant to clock into somebody else's time and go work for pennies on the dollar. I believe that we were meant to have our own passion, our own purpose, and to create infinite abundance for ourselves and others around us. That's my belief. You can take that for what it is. But even looking at those numbers, you say even if 10% convert, that's 10 to 20 new customers per month. Get it? How long would that take you now to get to 100 customers in your business so that you could actually say you're a legit business owner and You're not just somebody that's practicing, um, right? So, right. So even if it was 15, do the math. 15, 30, for it would take you less than 1 year. Now let's do the math again. If you had 100 people in your downline times whatever you make for them per month, what is that number? I hope you guys are following along with me. I hope you're writing these numbers down. I hope you're doing your own math because again, this isn't I'm not teaching this for me. I already know these numbers. I already know this shit like the back of my hand, right? But I'm trying to teach you to make sure you get it, you understand it because when this unlocks, I'm telling you, ooh, get passionate about it. It will be a completely different world once you get this and once you understand it. Then you'll know how many conversations you have to have. And when you know that, oh, well, I suck at closing because I'm only at 50%. Well, how do I get better at closing? And then you start working on that and your confidence starts building. And then you get 70, 80, 90 to whatever percentage you get to. But these are the numbers that you need to know. And the math that's going to help you get there easily is the 5 conversations per hour, but only giving yourself 12 minutes to where now, as I've told Rita and I mentioned to you guys last week, I don't even need a stopwatch, guys. You understand? Because this has been ingrained in my mind, body, and spirit for at least 2 decades. I don't even need a stopwatch. When I'm having the conversation, it's like natural. We have the conversation, and if it's timely, it's like, ooh, I get chills. They're multiplying. Like, it's taking too much time. We need to figure out where is this conversation going to go. I mean, maybe it's part of my ADHD. I don't know, but it's like I want to be able to have the conversation, have a lengthy conversation. If it's in business, I want to be direct, but I'm not there to sell somebody something. That's the whole key thing, right? So you can have a conversation without selling them something, still be on the phone for 12 minutes and not get any resolve out of that conversation. What did I just say there? Do you know what I just said? I said you can have a conversation and not try to close them. You don't have to have the outcome of the sale, is what I'm getting at, right? Because here's the thing that I've learned. If you go in there without the intention of closing, many times they will close themselves. And if you go in there and they're like, oh, okay, well, if it's not for you, that's okay too. They will respect that and they'll be like, hey, this person didn't try to push me into it. They may come along in a month, 2 months, 3 months. You never know. I don't know what that number is going to be for you. It really depends on what is that what is that emotion or feeling that you gave that person when they came and they showed up, just like now? Are you guys getting something out of it? If you got anything out of it, then odds are you'll be back, right? Next Monday. You'll learn more. Same thing with the sale. If they want to be connected or attached to that line. I mean, this is the stuff that I teach my paid students, you know? Here we are. We're breaking it down on YouTube for you. Okay? But let's dig even further because as I mentioned when we first started, I want you to really grasp this and make sure that you're able to utilize this the best as you possibly can. So there's a little bit of a prep that happens that I want to explain to you so that you get it from the logistical side of things on the network marketing side, right? So do a 60-second prep, okay, before every conversation that you're going to do. You don't have time to do 10-minute research on what person that you're going to talk to. So here's your 60-second checklist. Write it down, take a snapshot, whatever. Right? You go prospect, scan, glance at their profile, their notes, find one connection point. Just one. Maybe it's maybe it's the post that you saw about their dog. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Quick, easy, 15 second scan, boom. There's the selection of the connection point that I'm going to utilize when I'm having the conversation. Mark that in your head, note it down if you need to. This is similar to if I'm doing door to door and I see a really great manicured lawn, right, Mrs. Jones? I'm going to point out that lawn, right? Hey, who's the gardener? Right? That's my connection point, just so that we correlate what I'm talking about, okay? Because I know sometimes I might say things that maybe you don't understand right off the bat. Psychology. Anyway, next 15 to 30 seconds set. Well, okay, clear your head. Take a deep breath, like we used to do in the military. Take a deep breath. Let it out. I'm telling you, if you do that, literally, your emotions, what you're doing is you're tuning your body, just like a tuning fork, getting ready to have an emotional conversation with somebody that you can transfer that emotion to somebody else. 30 to 45 seconds, know what your opener is. We've discussed this all the time. It's super easy. It's not very difficult to say, hey, Virgil, how's it going? How's your day going so far? Right? I tell you, it's super easy to open any conversation. I do it in the grocery line. All right, so we're not giving you anything that's difficult. You just have to have the conversation, know how to start them off and what to say, right? 45 to 60 seconds. What's the state? Make sure that your energy is up. If you're on the phone, stand up if you need to. I've mentioned this. Move around. Motion creates emotion. That emotion is going to carry you through the telephone or through the conversation you're having, on video. Maybe you might have some music in the background, get you pumped up and ready for that hour. Like if you had to play some Rocky music in the background before you, I don't know. Like what do you play when you want to get motivated? Put that on in the background before you start your prospecting hour, okay? But make sure that your energy is up. And in essence, make sure you're in the zone. You heard me talk about it earlier. I get focused like a laser beam. And there's some other things that I could teach you on that, but that's a different class, right? My point is it only takes 60 seconds. Right? That's it. 60 seconds for you to point it out, point something out, take a deep breath, get ready, say, hey, how's it going? And you've already started the motion of actually moving forward instead of wasting time, overthinking, get paralysis, and then decide, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can have this conversation. Because remember, again, this whole network marketing thing, it's not digging ditches, it's just merely having conversations. And if you have the conversations the right way, people will say yes, right? If you have the conversation and you say it the wrong way, people will say no. It's that simple, right? We want to make it that simple. That's why, one of the greatest lessons that one of my mentors could have taught me that I'll pass on to you is being married to the process and divorced from the outcome. Being married to the process is what I'm telling you now to go have those conversations, 5 conversations per hour, regardless of what the outcome is. I don't care if you tell me no. And on the same note, I don't care if you tell me yes. That's great. But either one is going to work for me, right? If you tell me no, I'm not, oh, you told me no. And then I let my emotions get involved. And then that crashes the rest of the entire hour. If I allow my emotions to get involved on that first conversation and they tell me no, oh, what do you think happens? I get crushed because I allowed my emotions into it. This is why I told you guys last week about grown people that I've trained that are sitting on the corner crying because they got told no. Why? Just because they put their emotion into it. And you don't need to, right? That's my point. Go in there with the aspect of, hey, you're there to help somebody. If you've lined it up the right way, they need what your product is. You're just showing them why you need it, right? If you want it, great. If not, that's okay too. We can still be friends, right? Maybe you'll come around next time. That's the attitude and mentality that you have to have. Not, oh my God, I got to get this sale. I hope I get it. I hope I get it. Da, 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 da. Right? So take 60 seconds, prep for yourself, and then give yourself what I call a 30-second debrief. Okay? After every conversation, what I want you to think of is how did that conversation go? It's only a quick 30-second debrief, right? What, let's say, was the prospect, was it a hot prospect? Was it warm or was it cold? Can you give them a quick rating? Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how quickly or aptly would you want to talk to that prospect again? Was it a great little 12-minute conversation, or was it like dull and drag and boring? Like, oh my God, I had to pull teeth with this person. Right? Speaking of teeth, I got a tooth pulled. Yay, no more pain. Same thing, right? No more pain. If that person is boring to talk to, you're not going to want to talk to them. Drop a rating in there. And then third but not final is drop some apples, oranges, and coconuts on them. Right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, shame on you. You should get into the lost transition. Haha. Right? Then as you're having the conversation, find out what's their pain. In one sentence, write it down. Uh, they're tired of, in my world, I see a lot of um, trying so hard but never getting anywhere because when they go and find somebody, then that person can't be duplicatable, then they can't replicate. Like, again, it's all the same shit that happens in the network marketing arena. But if you do these things we're teaching you, you can reduce the amount of conversations you have, reduce the amount of turnover, reduce the amount of training, reduce the amount of time that you have to spend. All of those things can be reduced, right? By making sure that you plan properly and that you have, the right teacher, coach, mentor, whatever, and get around the right training around the right people. But write down what's their pain. In the lost transition inside of that contact area, you'll be able to write all that stuff down, just so you know. Right? And then what's the next step? What's the follow-up? If you talk to them today and it was a decent conversation, if I had to end the conversation, well, when would I want to pick that back up? Typically, it's going to be about 3 days. But I don't have to go and chase people down, right? We mentioned this, I want to say about 3, 4 weeks ago, where I talked about getting the prospect to follow up with you, right? So when I say, well, what's the next step, even in a follow-up date or action, I would still put that in the prospect's hands. Like as an example, I'd say, hey, Jorge, it was great chatting with you, and I'd love to chat more. But I got to get some phone calls done to some people that are asking me about my business. Let's talk again in a couple days, if that's cool with you. And hey, if you don't hear from me by Wednesday, give me a call Thursday. Is that cool? If y'all paid attention to what I just did, give me a 1 in the chat area. I want to make sure you guys are still alive and I'm not boring you to death. What did I just do? Anyone?
Yeah, you put the ownership on that person to give you a call back so that you're not necessarily calling them and giving them the time that they need, which you're not making an appointment. They are making the appointment.
Right.
So you're putting the ball in their court.
Amen. Amen. And then now, if they're coming back to you, well, what do you think that is? Like, that's a signal saying, hey, that they are interested in what it is that you're doing. Right.
Yep.
So utilize these things that we're teaching you. This is next level stuff I'm teaching you guys. No one's teaching this shit. So use it. Telling you, it works. And then get one personal detail. What's kid's name? What's their hobby? Where are they located at? Like even yesterday, again, all of these things that I teach, I do. I don't only just preach, but you know, I utilize them. I'm playing video games with a guy that I'm connected to on PlayStation. Don't really know much or anything about the guy. We've maybe played once before. We get into some games and we start kicking ass together, man. It's like, man, he's a great teammate. And I mentioned, and come to find out, yeah, he says something. Married, he's married. I hear married. Says something about his wife and playing, and then boom, that's where that connection was made. Similar to what I was just talking about, to find that one connection. And the connection was us being married. And then we started laughing because my wife was in the background talking smack about the game. And I went to him, I said, does your wife ever do that? He said, what's that? Is it talk smack about you and how you play the game? He came back and it was so classic and it was beautiful. He said, "No, my wife sucks at the game. She's her saying anything is like she's retarded when it comes to the gaming world." And I just couldn't help but laugh because my wife was there, and of course she heard everything. And I'm like, "See there, yeah, it's like you're being retarded." And I'm not making fun of people that are mentally disabled, right? Don't want to use that word loosely. But the point I'm getting at is that we made that connection, and then I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, hey, I'm here in Texas. Where are you from?" Then I use what's called give to get. If I want to get some information from him, I'm going to say, "Well, this is where I'm at. Where are you at?" It's all natural psychology, especially when it comes to having a conversation. It's just not taught to you in schools, right? So take that 30-second debrief after every customer that you talk to and type it out, right? Voice memo it, scribble it, TLT it, you know, like that. Just don't skip it, right? Because your future self is going to thank you. You're going to thank yourself that, oh, I'm glad I put that note there because that notation may come in handy later. It's just like me calling for the warranty on the hot water heater and asking them, hey, so how long was that warranty good for anyway? Just in case I need that for later. Oh, come to find out, the warranty is six-year warranty. Well, hello, got a 6-year warranty. It's not even 4 years, my friends. Something needs to happen, right? So here's even deeper the power hour structure because I know we're gone over 2 minutes. So let me knock this out real quick and then we'll get done. Your 60 minutes mapped out, right? You start up at 0. You prep for 30 seconds. You get ready, get your headspace. Boom. You get the person. You look at them. Find something constructive. You start the find something to connect. Start the conversation. Boom. You go through the conversation. You talk for 12 minutes. Maybe it's a little less at the end of that. So maybe 13 seconds. Jot some notes down. Right? Go to the next conversation. Have the conversation. 12 minutes. Jot notes. Conversation 3, so on and so forth. Okay? For 5 conversations, 60 minutes. Done. That's how it's done. That's a power hour structure. That's you sitting down, not scrolling endlessly through Facebook, but knowing exactly who you're going to talk to. And let's break it down even better for you. Okay? Because we're going to teach you how to batch your prospects. So what I want you to do moving forward is I want you to prep 5 people that you're going to talk to before you even start. What? Get out of here. So imagine if you actually had 5 people that you knew you were going to talk to before you started. What's the biggest time killer? You sitting there searching for who the next person is that you're going to talk to, right? So if you're going to go sit down and have a power hour, or even 5 per day, go and find those 5 people, write them down. Who are you going to have that conversation with? Put them into your calendar for Christ's sakes if you need to. Right? Open 5 tabs, full 5 contacts, write 5 names. Have their info ready so you know exactly where it's at. No endless scrolling or anything. No clicking around. You'll have a better boom, 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 boom. In fact, I always tell everybody too. I recommend if I'm having a conversation with somebody that's a contact and I know them on Facebook, I'm immediately on their profile. I'm looking at what is that connection. Oh, dude, I like this picture you sent here. Right? It's an easy way for you to have a conversation just based off of what you see on their Facebook page. But then know the order, right? Go in there and say, well, what's your warmest market? And then to the coldest. Start with your warmest market first. Okay? That would be potentially people that would be follow-ups, right? You'll have more energy for the harder ones if you do it this way too. And then have backup names ready in case someone doesn't answer. Well, if Tom doesn't answer, I'm going to try to talk to Bob. If John doesn't answer, I'm going to try to talk to Tony, right? If Vicky doesn't answer, I'm going to try to talk to Rita. I'm giving you guys the game plan here. What do you call that? Like it's the rules. It's all the answers in the back of the book when you were in high school. Right? But badger prep is what I'm getting at so that you can protect your momentum and then use your post on social media. Right? So what do I mean by that? Well, if you've been paying attention in our inner circle and stuff, right? We're gonna go put out a post that's gonna pique somebody's interest, and then they're gonna respond, and voila, like magic, those are people that we can put onto that list of 5 people that we can talk to for that day. Oh my goodness. Well, is this person an apple, orange, or a coconut? Would I rate them at a 1 or a 10? Are they always on my page? Are they always constantly liking or commenting? If they are, then hello, that's my warm market. I can start off a conversation with my warm market, even knowing that it's not going anywhere. It's not even going to create a sale, just to get the juices flowing, just to have the conversation, just to get in the zone, just to get the energy moving, so that I can transfer that energy on the second conversation. Get it? Decision fatigue kills more prospect and errors than rejection ever will. That's why you got to keep moving forward. That's the other reason why, too, you've heard me say, if you go and you get a sale and it's your second conversation, for Christ's sake, don't stop. Have those next 3 conversations pulling over the energy that you got because you're elated because somebody just joined your business because you said the right thing, you did the presentation properly, right? So batch your prospects, be smart about it before you sit down and do it. And I'm telling you, if you do these things, your hour will go smooth. You'll be like, holy shit, where'd the hour go? Oh, wow, I only got to talk to 3 people. Oh, but I got a sale. Wow, how'd that happen? Like, I'm telling you, it's like magic. You'll be like, damn, I guess Robert was right. I guess he kind of did know what he was talking about. What a cool guy. So here's some time wasters, okay, beyond doom scrolling, but over researching a prospect, right? Don't sit there. You don't have to go through the scroll, see what they've done. The post. I typically look at 3 posts, right? If that, I could tell a lot just by going on the profile itself, looking at the header banner, looking at the profile page, looking at whether or not they're promoting a business or not, and looking at their first post. That tells me everything I need to know to get started with that conversation. Okay. You don't have to perfect your script. That's going to take some time, right? Just be good enough. Learn throughout the trials and tribulations, fall forward, as people say, whatever the case may be. And then realize, have the awareness that when you do get a no, that, oh, well, maybe think about, well, why would I have gone that no? Maybe I didn't build the relationship enough. Maybe I didn't change the state. Most likely, it's probably going to be a big one, right? But then waiting for the right time. There is no right time, right? It's now. It's, it's now or never, right? I can't help myself. Checking social media between calls. Don't do it. Stay focused on the 5 conversations. Put your phone on airplane mode if you have to. Okay? Long post call analysis, 30 seconds. Capture the essentials and move on. Letting one bad call derail you. Right? Again, remove your emotions from the conversations that you're going to have when it comes to that. Yeah, screw you. You're just trying to sell me something. Well, no, I really wasn't, but I click. Son of a, oh, darn it. Well, that didn't go well. Brush your shoulders off, move on to the next one. But before you do, breathe it in, let it out, shake it off. I'm telling you, I may sound silly. I know I'm making you laugh, but these are literally how it works. You have to control those emotions within you before you can even think about controlling other people's emotions or even trying to transfer any emotions, right? So make sure you're in the right headspace and timing. Energy management, right? Before you do it, make sure you're staying sharp. Before, hydrate. Can't even tell you how much I approve this message. Stay hydrated, boys and girls, because as you're talking, it weighs the tone on your vocals. You need water. Now stand up, move around, like I said, put music on. Between any of those resets, take that deep breath that I just talked about. Shake your hands off. Smile. People can hear the smile exactly, right, Rita? Right? But then mindset really, it's so important. Every call is conversation number one to them. It might be conversation call two, three, four, or even five to you, but it's one to them. This is very important, and why I say this, because I want you to think about that. It might be your third call, but it's only their first. Does that resonate with anybody? I hope so. I trust it did. Right? And then after, celebrate completing five. Clap. Give yourself a pat on the back. Jump up and shout, I freaking did it! Yes! Celebrate the win. I'm telling you, y'all are laughing at me. You go ask the other millionaires and how they did it, they're going to tell you a lot of the same. They're going to tell you they saw it in the mirror. They're going to tell you they talked to themselves. I've heard some of them say they talked to themselves in the mirror and told them how much of a piece of crap they were and how they needed to get the shit together and yada, 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 yada. That's a lot of pretty strong mirror work, right? But anyway, have your emotions in check, so to speak. And then quality versus quantity. I'm a big component of both, quite honestly. If you go and you update your skill set and you know what you're talking about, you'll get both quality and quantity, especially if you're pre-qualifying people. By that, I mean, we'll pre-qualify those people and then have those as five pre-qualified prospects that you speak to. Maybe that's set up on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, depending on your scheduling. I'm giving you all the hints. I'm dropping the gold. Are you picking it up? All right. Don't rush the conversation. Just have a normal conversation. It's not going to be about sales. If it deems that the conversation is going to go to sales, then you know what to do. All you do is change the state and start talking about business. Throw a few little flies in the water and see if they bite on them. If they don't bite, cool. Well, you let it go, and then 12-minute mark. Hey, I'd love to sit here and talk more about this business or this product. But I gotta do some follow up with a few people that were interested. Let me get back to you, man. Let's talk again in a few days. Hey, if you don't hear from me in 3, call me in 4. Right? Structure everything because that's going to give you more depth, right? Especially if you have that person and then the fallback person. Now you've got more depth. There's no rushing. You're not stressing yourself out because you don't have the people to talk to. Because for Christ's sake, there's plenty of people to talk to. Huh, Vicky? Vicky's got plenty of people to talk to, right? Okay, Power Hour Killers. We won't even get into that really because we're over time. You know, just stop wasting your time. Stop wasting your time. Notice when you're not doing something right. Like I know it's funny to me now, especially. I'll get some kind of notification or I'll see an email. Somebody said something on Facebook. I'll go into Facebook, I'll go look at it, and then I'll start looking and I'll start scrolling, and then awareness kicks in. You're scrolling, you're wasting time. Click, 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 and then I get off that, right? So now that also helps me reduce the amount of freaking tabs that I have open. Some of you guys have way too many tabs open in your browser, by the way. That's another reason why you're going to have confusion. Keep it simple. Last little notes that I'm popping up in my head. Keep it simple, right? Keep it down to like 4 or 5 tabs open. If you can do that, then you're more focused as well. The more tabs you have open, now the more confusion that you're introducing into your life. Get into something, do it, click out of it, get rid of it. All right. So I'd love to hear you guys' takeaways. Well, tell me what's your daily power hour? Are you doing it? Obviously, I don't think you guys are because I didn't hear the responses earlier. But indulge me if you'd like. Uh, where are you going to keep your batch prospect list? And what's your energy ritual between calls? Dr. Lisa, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say my number one takeaway today was the 60-second prep
Cool.
because I from contact mapping training and all that, it's like I used to feel like before 40 minutes ago the obligation to remember everything that we've talked about before, and every product that they've purchased or whatever. And I just love that you said just pick one touch point for that conversation.
Yeah.
That's going to save me a lot of time.
Awesome. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Thank you. Go ahead, Rita.
Okay, this has been hilarious, but I want to say, and I agree with you on all points.
Your edutainment for the day.
I am such the phone dings, and what's that? Do I have to answer that, or whatever? It's a distraction. I get it. I know it. Guilty as charged.
Sure.
But I have to say this. And okay, so I am promoting, but I'm promoting with a purpose, because people do not understand or the beauty in the platform that you have created. And when you are within that window, put down the phone, okay? But I will say, I might have to scroll to find some prospects, but I got plenty to work with. I don't have to do that, but it's interesting and I do. So, working from that platform, you're right in that window. You click on that timer and then you get, you do your 60 seconds. All right, and then you just go, and you got prospects already on the somewhere, I'm sure. And then you just do what you got to do. If it means sending them an email, maybe it means talking to them in chat, depending upon where your prospects come from. So within that window, everything is documented. You can click on a thing and it'll do the calendar thing, so you can set the next appointment. Well, you may not do it, but they may tell you. Just depends. All of that stuff is documented right there. And then you look, it's just the beauty of it. If you haven't seen it, you need to get a demo of that, because it is, I'm telling you, it takes the work out of work. Do you forget stuff? No, because you could sit there and type while they're talking to you. Just like you some of you may be typing like during the presentation. I know you do, because I do it too. So you must be doing it, whether you're taking notes on tape.
Multitasking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and if you want, and that kind of multitasking is good, because you're listening and you're also documenting within the platform. And when I tell you, you just come in the mornings and look at your desktop, and you just click, it's already laid out. It's crazy. I mean, it's like crazy, super organized. If you're not an organized person and you're like, look, if you could see my desk, you could see it looks like a mess. But when I go to the platform, it's like you can breathe, because everything you need is there. You don't have to look under that paper. Where's that sticky note? Did I put it on the yellow one or the green one? Oh no, I put it on a recipe card. No, I put it on the back of an envelope. Everything is right there for you. And if you haven't seen it, I encourage you. If it's $1 a day, a little over $1 a day, let's say $1.20 a day. How much is that per hour? I mean, if you think about it, and as he was breaking things down in terms of the number of sales you need in order to get the month that you want, or the kind of day you want, whatever your number is, your target number, there's a beauty in that, because you can see it. So if you have not seen it, just ask for a demo. Ask him for a demo. He'll do it. He's always there, except when he's not at the dentist or chiropractor. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet, but that's my shameless plug, and it's
No, I love it.
it's a beautiful thing. It's a
No, I
beautiful
do
thing.
love it, and I'm glad that you're having that experience. And just so you know, this weekend I did a lot of updates on the email side of things. So I found a couple bugs that I didn't know that were there. So we now have that same ability that we did before, that wasn't working. I thought it was, to be able to send emails out and to have those videos inside those emails play, because every email that goes out like an HTML web page, similar to how we had it with NowSite. So I put some of that in there, some follow up stuff. So the email build section, or my email build the bear type following thing that I showed you, that little button that you click and use, that's way more responsive, easier. So I did a lot of work to it this weekend anyway.
So
Um,
can so Virgil says demo next
uh-huh.
next session. So maybe you should consider doing that because it
Yeah.
is really powerful.
Yeah, we could do
It's
something
true.
for sure. Thank you
I
for
know
that.
I know this going to maybe screw up your plan that you have for the year, but see how you can squeeze it in there, coach.
No, we'll figure something,
All right.
or just have a side training is what I was thinking. Maybe a Saturday or something. I don't know. We'll see. Any other Vicky? Go ahead.
Maybe a Wednesday, one of these Wednesday workshop
Yeah,
discussion, maybe. Yeah.
yeah. You tell me what you want to do with Wednesdays, and we'll make something happen. I'm here. Go ahead, Vicky.
You have me chuckling here. I do talk to a lot of people every day. Okay. But I don't know if it's a mindset thing or not. But I keep hearing in the back of my head all of these conversations as I'm talking to them. I don't look at them as a prospect, first of all.
Sure.
I'm trying to build trust and relationship with them. So
Mm,
it's determining when I need to switch it over. And sometimes that runs smoothly, sometimes it doesn't,
okay.
and so I just got to be honest with myself that I'm probably failing when it comes to that department because I am working so hard on building the trust and getting to know them and listening to them and determining if they're an apple or an orange or a coconut, that it's I'm not ever getting, yeah, there she said it, divorce yourself. But yeah, the biggest takeaway from today is the consistency in making that power hour happen every single day, separated from other conversations and stuff. Like just targeting that specific time. And then what Rita said, I got to think about what she said now, but she said something valuable too. But very, very much great takeaways today, and I appreciate it.
Good. If I had sound effects, they would sound like this. Burr, 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 burr. So
Boo,
you're
boo, boo,
getting it.
boo.
So you're getting it. That's the whole thing, right? Most of us won't take that time to do that dedicated power hour, or we'll go into it half-assed, for the lack of better terms, and we'll say, "Oh, well, I'm going to go prospect," and we have one conversation. Maybe it does or doesn't go well, and then, oh, it's time for lunch. All right, squirrel. I got a phone call. All right, that's what we're getting at, right? So
Mhm.
I'm glad you took the biggest thing out of it is to actually separate that time. You must
Yeah,
separate that time and then utilize that time. If not, then at least start off because we got to have baby steps, right? Everybody comes in at different levels. Your baby step is just to at least have those 5 conversations in one day, right?
yeah,
So have those, even if it's like, oh, okay, we'll have this conversation. Track that though and mark down what was that conversation? What was the outcome? What can we pull from that? What was, what was the connection that was made? Because based off of that connection, to give you guys a quick little, another little nugget, if there's ever a connection with me and that person, anytime I see something involved with that connection, I can now easily send them like a funny video or something that they will correlate with, right? They'll understand. I can send them something that's funny and say, "Oh, I saw this and thought of you." Something that doesn't seem like much. It's really pretty simple, but because of the fact that you thought about them, now you're showing them that you're actually thinking about them versus not thinking about them. So great stuff, Vicky. And yeah, we just got to work on getting you to separate that
I
out.
remembered now what it was Rita said.
Yeah,
It
go
was
ahead.
utilizing the system.
Yes.
Okay. But I have blocks, and you know why when it comes to the system. So I can do so much,
Sure.
and then I have to wait. But that's going to all change. I'm down to my 18 days left. I've been doing this for 9 years, and I got 18 days left.
What's your 18-day left counter? What is that?
That is when everything's going to change, and I'm going to have access to a lot more funds that I'm finally able to get my hands on that I hadn't been able to for the last 9 years.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah,
Good.
so I just got to get 18 more days. I made it 9 years. I can do it 18 more days, and then
So
everything
things are
should change.
progressing. Good,
Oh,
good.
things should
Good.
change tripled
Good.
because of I've been dealing with peanuts versus what I should have had all along. Do you know what I'm saying?
I totally know what you're saying. 100%. It goes back to me thinking about $10 a deal versus 200.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot different. So
Awesome.
not much longer. I've almost made it, and then you'll be hearing me hoop holler from Florida.
Good. 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 Well, we know we
Love you
love having you
guys.
here. Love you too. Thank you for your input and your takeaways. So that's it, guys. This week's challenge. I want you to complete at least 1 power hour. Can you do that? Not for me, but just for yourself. Do yourself that favor. Sometime this week, just take one day, set it aside. Say, I'm going to do a power hour. This is the date. This is the time. No ifs, ands, or buts. Rain, sleet, snow. You're going to be like the mailman, and you're going to deliver. And then you'll join us next week for week 25. We're going to talk about handling the I need to think about it objection, for lack of better terms. Like I said, I don't get many objections, but we're going to talk about some of those so that you understand where they're coming from and then how to tie this stuff in together so that you're having that conversation, telling the story in such a way that you handle that. I need to think about it in advance so that it doesn't come up, right? So, beyond that, we'll see you guys tomorrow for How To Tuesday, and have a fantastic week. Go kick ass, take some names, and oh, Rita, did you have something you wanted to add real quick?
Yep, I'm putting it out there. I will do my 5 after our conversation today.
Oh,
So
sounds
do my
good.
5. So I'm putting some pressure. Like I'll do
There you go.
1 or 2, but I'm doing my 5s. I'm letting everybody know that'll be my wins for next week. I got my 5 done, guys.
Yay. Good, good, good. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, my friends.
Gotcha.